Hello everybody! In this video we are going to show you from our temporary home, our new home, and how it is being built. This video will show phase 1 of the house build, where the wattle structure of our wattle and daub house goes up. This means laying the foundation and putting up the wooden poles to each side. So we hope you enjoy the video. Thank you!
The first step was to decide on a good location for the house. We did not want it too far from the road, but neither did we want it right next to the road. Our land has been undertended to for a few decades, which means there are wild bushes and trees throughout. This also meant that we had to find an opening where the fewest trees and bushes had to be cut. We felt that the location we settled on was ideal, as it only had a few bushes in the way and is about 50 meters from the road. We also have a mains water pipe at the top end of our land near the road to Bojani, which meant digging a trench for the water connection of the house was not too difficult. It is surrounded by trees which should give us shade during the hot months, but we will plant more also for protection from the wind. Before any work was done, we measured out the area to see if our 8 by 10 meter house would fit there. You will see some sticks on the ground that were used for the initial measurement. Everybody was happy with the location, and our builder went away with our drawings to give us a price overview and stake out the area for the next day. On the second day, the outside and inside of the house had been staked out with sticks and strings, and the workers started digging out the holes for the wooden poles. We visited the building site more or less every other day. We rented a place in Malindi while the house was being built. By day 3, all the holes for the wooden poles had been dug. The holes are quite deep to provide stability. You can now see the outline of the house and each room, as well as the hallway in the middle. And if you look closely enough, you can see the gaps that were left for the doors into each room. We will have 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and the long room spanning one whole side will be the kitchen and the living room together, with the front door leading into the living room. The holes for the veranda had not been dug yet, and you can quite clearly see the nice big gap for the front door. Nobody was on site when we arrived, as they were in the forest cutting the poles for the house. You will see throughout the video that the ground is left as it is. Traditionally, people just use the normal ground as flooring in the house. We won't do that, but that will be the topic of another video. After a couple of days cutting the poles, almost all of them have arrived to the building site. Some of them are smaller and will be the horizontal posts, and the larger ones will be used for the outside and the inside walls vertically. All vertical poles are at least 3 meters tall. Before the poles go into the ground, they need to be straightened first. This will be the job for the next few days. Fundi, aka builder, and his crew have already started straightening the poles. The ends are cut off, and later on in the video you will see the technique they use to keep a bendy pole straight. The poles are being separated by size. There are different workstations where people work on different sizes of the poles. Our plumber came to the site the day before, and we decided to already dig the trench for water before any of the poles go in. It makes access easier for everyone, and we can ensure we have water when we need it for the mudding work. Well, in theory. In practice, things never work out. The trench goes all the way from the beginning of the property to the building site, and the outside tap will be just past the house. We had a crew of about 6 people digging the trench. It was completed in 1 day, magically, pipes laid, and covered again the following day. The trench has been closed again, except the part where mains water still needs to be connected to our water pipe. We need to wait for the water meter to arrive before we can do that. Waiting for the water meter was a little bit like waiting for Godot, if any of you know this. Yeah, it was a little bit longer than we thought, but in the end, things worked out. The first poles are up and it looks so different already. The tree closest to the house unfortunately needed to lose some branches, otherwise it would have been in the way of the roof and the wall. The place for the water meter is being fitted. We had a few young men on site learning how to do building and plumbing that day. As the poles are coming up, you can see the outline of the house. The outside water tap has also been fitted now. Our builder and his crew really know what they're doing. The poles form one perfect straight line. And here you can see how the straightening is done. Small cuts are made into the pole and a piece of wood wedged in the opening. That means that now all the poles are straight. A new pole goes in. The yellow string is the guiding line to ensure they are in a perfect line. When a pole is fitted, the earth from the hole is put back around it and hardened using a stick. So first it goes in, made sure that it's very straight. Then Jonah plays around with a crowbar. Now all the earth, well, not all, but the earth goes back in, all around the pole. And out comes the stake that killed Dracula. So let's hope that Dracula never meets Patrick, because he's got quite the punch. The last wall poles are coming up. A string goes around the two end poles to ensure the straight line, and held tight on one end to ensure the string is taut. And then all the poles are fitted right around that line. When we returned from our trip to Nairobi, the entire structure of the house was finished. It now properly looks like it could be a house. You can see how the bigger poles are vertical and the smaller poles are horizontal, all around the house in even distances. This is the so-called wattle part of wattle and daub architecture. The daub is the mud mixture that goes in between and all around the poles. You can now also see the outline of the veranda, and you can get a proper feeling for each of the rooms. When you look closely, you can see how each of the larger poles is surrounded on each side by the smaller poles and secured with some rope. The inside walls will be 6 inches thick and the outside walls will be a little thicker than that. The holes for the windows will be cut out later, so for the moment the whole structure has been completed all around.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this little video about how our structure went up. In the next video, we would like to show you how our roof went onto our house. So stay tuned for this video coming up soon. Thank you again. Bye. Is it...
I think we might need extra light or record during on the land. No, but we need the video as soon as possible. Maybe there. Still too dark. Maybe behind, in front of the plant. But now then it'll be too noisy. Yeah.
Kitchen?
With the light on? The blue wall is always good. And we can close this.
Yeah, exactly. Or less noise. Yeah?
I was trying to get to a point where I can see you. See if I can see you like